Here's how you can start a $1 million business today. Now, let's just walk through the math of a $1 million business. And quite frankly, it's not that complicated. I believe that anybody in this world, no matter where you live, no matter what experience level you have today, I believe that you can run a $1 million business. And here's how the math breaks down. First of all, let's just talk about what a $1 million business is. Let's define what $1 million is. So if you're doing $1 million in revenue, we're not talking about profits here. This is just gross revenue, okay? Now, depending on the industry that you're in, depending on what exactly you're selling or services you're providing, you're gonna have a different profit margin. And even if you had the same services as somebody else, you are running your business differently, so you're not gonna have the same profit margins as they are. They have different employees, they have different levels of efficiency, they have different systems, so it's never going to be exactly the same. Now let's break it down on a monthly level. So if we want to get to $1 million in revenue, it's a little over $83,000 in revenue. So let's assume it's $84,000 in revenue. That gets us a little bit over $1 million. So if we are making $84,000 in revenue every single month, that's just gross revenue. Well, first of all, it's not even $100,000 a month, okay? So you're not even having to make 6 figures a month in order to get to the $1 million mark. So I know for some of you, that's right there. That's already a relief. We're not having to target this 6-figure amount every single month, but it's pretty close. It's $84,000. So if we're making $84,000 in sales, we could just work a little bit backwards and start doing the math. And this is exactly how I structure my businesses. I like to work backwards from the number that I'm targeting. So if my target is $84,000 and I want to make that every single month, I need to consider what value is attached to my product, right? And maybe I just have one product. Let's just start with one product. Let's say I'm selling some sort of product for $100, or maybe I'm selling a service for $100. But whatever it is I'm selling, we'll get into the details later on, but I just do the math backwards. If I'm selling a $100 product, I need to calculate how many of those products I need to sell in order to get to $84,000. And so if I want to make $84,000 in revenue with a $100 product, I need to sell 840 of those products. So 840 t-shirts, or 840 books or notebooks, or whatever it might be that I'm selling for $100. Again, we have to think about what that product actually is. Maybe it's a mini course. I'm selling it for $100. If I sell 840 of them in a month, I've hit my $84,000 a month mark. And that means that maybe there's not a lot of delivery involved with a digital course because it's just recorded videos. I'm selling it for $100. I'm sharing valuable information for people. And now I've made $84,000. And with that $84,000, as long as I can keep that up for 12 months, I'm able to make that $1 million. And so right there is a 7-figure business. Now, what if my product was worth $1,000? What if instead of my $100 product, which is some digital course, I sold a $1,000 product and I still wanted to get to that $84,000 mark every single month? How would I do that? The only way that I can do that is if I sell to now 84 people. See how that number changes? If I can change the value of my product, then I don't have to sell to as many people. I would much rather sell a $1,000 product to 84 clients, because first of all, I can dedicate more time to them because it's a $1,000 product instead of a $100 product. Second of all, I'm able to have a more focused audience. It's not going to be as broad. It's not everybody, but it's people who are actually taking this topic seriously. And a lot of times those people are much better to work with. So that's just like some side effects of business. But if you're selling a $1,000 product to 84 people, you only have to have 84 clients a month to make $84,000. So the math is actually pretty simple. Now imagine if I had a $10,000 product, which I do. I sell a $10,000 product. How many of those do I have to sell every month? 8.4. Now we could round up and make it 9. So my target is 9 of these products. It might be a more intricate coaching program or something like that. If I sell 9 of those a month, I'm making $90,000 a month. It's really not that much. And by the way, these numbers, if you're watching this and you've never been around the high ticket coaching space, $10,000 is not a lot. We have programs for $40,000, for $50,000. I've seen programs myself that people have offered to me for $250,000. $500,000. There are programs like that out there. Now they're a lot more advanced, but for a $10,000 program, as long as you're providing, the rule of thumb that I use whenever I'm selling a product is I want the consumer to get 10 times the amount of value of what they're paying for it. So if they're paying $10,000 for it, I want them to get $100,000 worth of value from that product. And that's a great rule of thumb to use for something like this. I want to provide so much value that they're going to buy this $10,000 product, and then they're going to be like, oh wow, Austin also has a $20,000 product and he has a $50,000 product. If he provided so much value in the $10,000 product, I wonder how much value he's going to provide in those. And so they start ascending to your other offers. And so that is how you build this whole thing. Now, of course, if you have a $20,000 product, you only have to get 4 clients. It'll be almost at $84,000, but let's say 5 clients, right? Now all of a sudden it's not that many people to get to $1 million business. And so then we could also go the other direction. If you didn't want to sell a $100 product to 840 people, you could sell a $50 product, right? And that would be 1,680 people every month. That's a lot of people, but again, a lot of people have $50 and they're probably not even going to think twice about it. Now that's a different demographic than the people who are paying $10,000 or $20,000. So you also have to consider who you are positioned to help the most. And this is something that I really learned in business because I'm a pretty flexible person. There's a lot of things that I can do. I can do more basic stuff, I can do more advanced stuff, or I could do really precise expert level guidance and education and coaching. And I found that I am very, very aligned with a very specific one of those demographics. So look at your business and look at what level of service you can provide. And it's not about how smart you are, how skilled you are at all. It's just the people that relate the most to you. Do you relate to the people who are just starting out? If so, that is your power play right there. You have to focus on those people. You're going to be the most successful helping those people. Or maybe you are a little bit more advanced and you can relate to the people who, they have PhDs. They're coming into your program with $10 million businesses. These are the people that can relate to you the most. And so those people should be the ones that you're helping because you're going to relate to them and you're going to be able to help them more than the people who are just starting out. And if you don't have that passion and that excitement to work with those people, it's just not going to work out. Anyways, that's how we can start a $1 million business if we just have some sort of info product. Now, let me show you a more maybe traditional method. And by the way, we've done this with multiple clients where we've built 7-figure businesses for them. And how did we do that? Well, it's a very, very interesting industry called appliance repair. Now, if you think about it, appliance repair is necessary. If your refrigerator stops working, you're not gonna be like, oh, well, you know what? It's okay, I'll fix it next month. No, you need it fixed right here, right now. You need it done immediately. So if you need it done immediately, you're gonna be willing to work with the first person that pops up on Google. So we've mastered 2 things. Number 1, excellent customer service with our appliance repair companies. Secondly, we are able to be that first person that pops up in almost any city. And that is a huge key to this whole business because we're able to scale companies to that 7-figure mark, $84,000 a month within 3 to 6 months for people. And really, you only need 3 to 4 technicians that are working for you in order to get to that mark. So the ads are all figured out, the scripts are all done, the training is there, everything is complete. The only thing that this operator needs to do is hire the technicians. And so, of course, we help them do that. But basically, the math works out like this. Each technician brings in anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a month in revenue, in sales, right? They're selling appliance repair because there's a charge that is applied to them showing up, right? Maybe $100, $200 just to show up. And then if that person is willing to work with them because of their great customer service and they want them to repair the appliance, they get a percentage of that sale. And so on average, our technicians could be doing $200, $300, $400 per appointment in sales. And so, that adds up to be $20,000 to $30,000 a month. The technician keeps the percentage of that, by the way, anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40% in some cases. And in that scenario, they're bringing in, let's say on average, $25,000 a month. You have 4 technicians, you're making $100,000 a month. As the business owner, your profit margins should be somewhere between 20 and 30%, maybe even 40% if we can get things really, really tight. But that's kind of what we do with people with the appliance repair side of things. And again, that's a 7-figure business. If you just do the math backwards, it gets a lot easier. Do the math so that you can understand how much you need to sell of your product or your service. Make sure that product or service aligns with your target market, because if I go out to somewhere really, really cold and I'm trying to sell AC, it's not going to be a very popular thing. Or I'm trying to sell solar panels like in Alaska or something, right? People are probably not going to want to participate in that because it just doesn't fit the market well. But if I go down to Arizona or Texas or Florida and I'm selling solar panels, Oh, great. That's a great market fit. Business is all about, number one, doing that math and seeing what exactly needs to be done as far as numbers and what you need to track. And then secondly, we need to know that our product is not something that we like, but it's something that the market likes and responds well to. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones buying it, not you. It doesn't matter how much you like it or how much you don't like it. You have to be able to provide a product or service that's valuable to the people that you're helping and serving, because they're going to be the ones that are making the purchases. So as long as you have those two things, I believe you can get to $1 million business, and then you can start getting more efficient, more advanced. You start implementing AI, you start hiring some people, right? Maybe technicians, or even if you have that, even going back to that example of a $100 service. Let's say you're doing some $100 service, you edit one of their photos. Then you can start hiring editors, and you're paying these editors maybe an hourly rate, or you could just give them a part of each project. So you give them $20, $30, $50 per photo that they're editing. You collect the other 50, and you're just kind of the middleman in this whole operation, and you've created what's called a business. And so that's essentially the very basics of business. And of course, that's fairly easy to scale to $1 million. After $1 million, it gets a little bit more complicated because you have to start hiring more people. But after that, you've already proven that your business has demand, it does make money, and now you're just looking for ways to scale even further. Alrighty guys, that's how you start a $1 million business. Hopefully this gave you some cool ideas that you can start working on. And if you want to partner with us on something like this, feel free to reach out. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.